As a matter of fact, wisdom in comparison to human knowledge in comparison to divine wisdom is subservient. As a matter of fact, it doesn't compare. It does not have the same natural, truthful foundations as God's divine wisdom. So in other words, wisdom from God, or wisdom that gives life, wisdom that speaks the word of life, in comparison to what I think, in comparison to what you think, we are always wrong and God is always right. So that's the best analogy to kind of sum up what wisdom really is. It's when all of our thinking, all of our ways, all of our mannerisms are reduced to being wrong, or the exact opposite, in opposition with what is correct or right. So here's where we have the setup of what Isaiah the prophet says to all mankind, that God's ways are what? Above our ways, and his thoughts above our thoughts. This is not a comparison to say that, hey, you start down here with your way, but if you stay on your way long enough, you'll actually gravitate and you'll exalt or excel to walk in God's way. No, this verse in Isaiah was set in opposition to show us that there's one way that's right. Everything else is absolutely wrong. It doesn't matter how right it may appear to be to you. You'll see this later if you study the entire book of Proverbs. You'll see that all the ways of a man appear or seem right to him, but God judges or evaluates ways, the spirit, the heart, what's inside of a man. So the framework that I want to build here, understanding wisdom in its essence, in its truest form, is that God is always right. We're always wrong. That we are always on the opposing side of what God intends to do. We were never going to, continue and excel and to one day arrive at what God wanted us to be. No, it was going to require me surrendering and submitting myself to his way, letting go of my way, so that his way is the only way. This is the setup for what we're going to see here in verse 20. In Proverbs chapter 1, verse 20, we see wisdom is crying out. Wisdom is trying to get her voice into the streets so that they can hear what God desires to speak. So here's what I want to start with. Wisdom is crying outside. Now the wisdom that we have been searching for, striving to find, wanting to discover, wisdom is now allowing her voice to be heard so that those who are listening can hear the voice of God speak. They can hear wisdom speak, but you can't hear God if you're not listening. Wisdom is crying in the public places. Wow, this is the teaching point here I need to get across. When we began, we said wisdom is like a treasure, something that you have to search for, look for, dig it up, find it, mine for the genuine gem that wisdom represents. I guess because man is so far off, so far away from discovering God's way, God sends his voice literally to cry out in the open places to get our attention, to say, hey, you are so far off track. Let me help you. Follow the tone of my voice so that you can at least turn around and be headed in the right direction.